good, everybody? Today we're going to be reacting to this video by Bellylaw News. I hope you're ready. Industry-wide change is here. Now, a lot of things have been happening within the gaming industry recently. A lot of changes, a lot of tariffs, a lot of potential monetization changes within the gaming space. I mean, I reacted to a video by Bellylaw not too long ago about how the regulations in the EU space might be changing gacha for the better. And today we're going to be taking a look a little bit at what else is going to change in the wider gaming sphere. I love these kinds of videos. I love my gacha games, but I also like talking about the gaming industry on the whole. So this is going to be a very interesting video to react to. Let's get into it.
Last time in this story, I talked about how change is coming. Today, we will talk about how change is actually here. This is the Lenovo Legion Go S. And I mean, man, our video on this thing
A what? Oh, sorry, a what?
Exploded. But today, something...
Like, portable PCs are a thing that are like a very hot topic right now. Since the Switch came out, we've had the Steam Deck. We've had a couple of other devices that are trying to compete in a similar path, and now I guess Lenovo is doing their own. Look how thick this is. Look at that. That's giga thick. God damn.
Fun has happened with that device. A price hike. Daniel Ahmad caught on to this, and here's the damage. This device was announced at $499. Then pre-orders opened at $549 in March, and according to Daniel, who's an analyst who is focused on Asia, so this would be...
So that wasn't a response to tariffs. It was just a normal price hike. And then with tariffs, it's going to go up again. W Trump. Hey, listen, I don't know a lot about this whole tariff situation, but I do know a lot of people are having to resource materials, resource things for their businesses in order to keep costs down. It's kind of crazy.
Very well within his wheelhouse. The, quote, reciprocal tariffs make it, quote, very likely that that price will increase. Who knows, maybe it could be $599. But in a way, whether it will, whether it won't, or how much the price hike could even be, that is almost the point. Us not knowing is almost the point, because that in itself is impacting the market. Price increases are actually happening, but it's not just for high-end devices, and it's not only for America.
It's for everything.
Today, you'll learn everything that's going on.
It's everything. It's anything that requires any kind of components.
I've also got a truly
anything
novel
that you need to create or make.
It's Boot Dev who have sponsored today's video.
Boot Dev!
You can learn the coding, engineering, and career skills to break into backend. Okay, so to get things started, I'll use the Legion Go S as our product example. When it was announced in January, there were 10% import tariffs against Chinese imports to the US. That basically meant that for every device imported, a 10% fee had to be paid. Now, to be clear, that 10% is not on your final retail price, it's on the price to import the thing. Though here, what we did see is a $50 price increase after those tariffs increased to 20%. So, 20% tariff led to a $50 price hike. Let's keep that ratio in mind and then apply it to the current tariff regime on non-medical products from China, which is 145%. If that ratio was to hold, you would be looking at a $1,225 increase on any Lenovo Legion Go.
Huh? Obviously, that's not what's going to happen. Bro, it makes no sense to me. I'll be real. This is past my brain of thinking.
OS that is imported now. Will that price hike happen? I think no, absolutely not. I mean, that price hike would literally kill the product. I think they would sooner just redirect stock to other markets or take a bit of a cut to their margin. It's hard to say, and from the government's end, it's also hard to say. I mean, as I record this, consoles, accessories, and merchandise are subject to the full tariff. Now, PCs and smartphones are technically exempt, but they might end up falling under any new semiconductor tariffs. But really, it is anyone's guess. And if you're going outside of China, well, for anyone else, there's a 90-day 10% tariff, and again after that, It's anyone's guess. Who knows where they will go for various different countries? And that is the real point. Uncertainty is bad for business. That hits everyone, and that includes today's second and third targets, Nintendo and Razer. Nintendo have been hit, but they have had some good news. They can now import the Vietnamese-built consoles under the 10% rating, not the 46% that they feared. And with that happening, pre-orders are actually now back, and Nintendo have chose to eat the 10% tariff on their console margin, but not an accessory.
Oh, okay. So they're not actually increasing the prices like others. They're eating it. They're taking a hit on the margins, knowing that this product is going to sell out and sell like hotcakes. So they are taking a bit of a hit, but if the product is going to sell, they know the product's going to sell.
The accessories have went up $5 to $10. So that's Nintendo, but obviously it's not only Nintendo. Razer have pulled Blade 16 pre-orders from the US market. Now its RRP has been $4,500. I can imagine with its pretty high input costs that the tariffs would be flipping brutal. And then there's...
I'm aware that laptops or things like that actually have incredibly small margins. The margins for those products aren't as big as you think, and the tariffs are going to completely fuck up, let's say, the laptop industry. If that's really what they were going for, it's going to completely mess it up. So I can understand why they would have stopped pre-orders, because their margins are tiny.
Framework. Now, Framework's whole shtick is making consumer-friendly, open, and repairable machines. They do really cool stuff. And with a brand like that, being candid is very advantageous. It's perfectly on message, so they did share a little bit more. Here's what they said. We priced our laptops when tariffs and imports from Taiwan were 0%. At a 10% tariff, we would have to sell the lowest SKUs at a loss. Other consumer goods...
Yeah, exactly. Their margins are so small. What's even the point? They would be just selling at a loss. That is crazy. Bro, these tariffs are genuinely changing the entire industry. This is forcing extreme worldwide change, especially the electronics industry. Crazy.
Makers have performed the same calculations and taken the same actions, though most have not been open about it. Yes, so they're implying that there's a lot of impact here. It's just the sort of impact that we're not really seeing because it's not being publicized. If a product that was going to go on sale is just pulled from sale, but you never knew about it, then guess what? You don't know about it. Now, of course, whenever the Taiwanese imports fell to 10%, Framework were able to restore some product, but not all, because some systems have got parts that are made in China. So expect to see more of this. Right now, if you're in the US,
it's doing what, like, the tariffs, well, I guess the administration wants to happen, is to get production away from China. Hey, if you're in America and you're making products that require, like, parts from China, do it somewhere else. That's kind of what they're saying right now, right? Do it somewhere else. I've seen so many companies already just straight up stop selling in the US in the past few weeks now. Yeah, because if they sold in the US, they'd be selling at a complete loss. Or make such little money that what's even the point? They'd rather do something else or source elsewhere. It's crazy.
Because
this really is like a trade war at this point. It's a trade war to get companies and businesses to relocate.
Are existing stockpiles that are already in the country, and then loads of companies have done rush orders. What that means is you are going to feel the impact much more on newer products. I mean, take one example, the NVIDIA 5060 cards. We've yet to see how that will fully play out. Now, NVIDIA told PC Gamer, quote, "There's not a whole lot we can do about tariffs, and that they will work with their partners to get these out at a reasonable price, which we are doing." Which, you know, is fair, that's well and good. But the end results are always going to be raised prices from where they could be. That much is obvious because a market inefficiency has been introduced. There is no way that you are going to escape that because, well, that's kind of how markets work. Now, if you thought that you could avoid all of this by being outside the US, good news. You can think again. PlayStation just hiked prices in much of the world, so digital consoles cost £40 and €50 more in the UK and EU, and both editions are up again in Australia and New Zealand. They're up 80 and 130 Aussie dollars and 150 and 210 Kiwi dollars, which is pretty bloody rough. And
ooh, $499, $429. Oh my, $829. Oh my goodness.
Per Sony, this is because of a, quote, challenging economic environment.
In Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, with the backup of a challenging economic environment, including high inflation and fluctuating exchange rates, has made the tough decision to raise the recommended retail price of the PlayStation 5 console in select markets in Europe, Middle East, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. What the fuck? Dude, what? What? Wait, what is the pound to the Australian dollar right now? 1 GBP to AUD. Oh my god. Wait, the Australian dollar is actually double the pound. That's fucking crazy. That's actually wild.
And per Sony, this is because of a, quote, challenging economic environment, including high inflation and fluctuating exchange rates. Which, to be fair to them, is kind of true. Basically, a weak yen and inflation across the manufacturing process combined with already razor-thin margins. And we know, but we can also infer that those margins are razor-thin, because this is a console generation that has seen far less deep discounting than the previous console gen. We are just not seeing the deals that we saw with the Xbox One and the PS4. I mean, it's actually been the opposite. 2022 saw a £30 and €50 increase for UK and Europe. And certainly I do think at least...
So less deals, more price. Bro, it's so... The tech industry is changing so massively.
With Sony, though, Xbox's weakness has all...
And also, this in conjunction with games themselves becoming more expensive, right? It's got nothing to do with, like, physically creating something and shipping it across seas. Actual games now are going to be priced at like $100, £100, whatever it is. That's the era we live in now. Technology is just expensive.
But killed any appetite that PlayStation would have for sacrificing margin to gain market share. Because, you know, they already have all that.
Yeah, they have that now. There's no reason for them to like have all these exclusive deals and everything like that. And super like affordable machines, because people are just gonna buy a PlayStation anyway. You also, if they buy a PlayStation or Xbox, it's a PlayStation every time. Goddamn, the PS4 did wonders for Sony, man. PS4 is gonna be their golden child forever. The console that changed everything. Genuinely, the console that changed everything.
That market share, Microsoft flubbed it. But you've probably noticed something though. All those price increases are outside of America. Yes, they're not US price hikes. You might be wondering how. You might be wondering why. Well, the inflation argument is likely true, but PlayStation, you have to remember, are working within a global market. It's not like America will just be its own little bubble. Sony can effectively subsidize the potential tariff increases in one territory by closing currency conversion gaps in other territories. And that's especially relevant in a world of region-free consoles, which of course is the world that Sony are operating in. If currencies are in your favor, you can just import a console and save a shitload of money. And I'm really not making this up. The Switch 2 is actually amazing proof of this. Japan's much discounted Switch 2 is a region-locked model. It's 49,980 yen, and that price is actually sticker shocking Japanese consumers, even though at the time it equated out to $330, which is a lot less than the Switch 2 base price.
Holy goddamn! That's so much less.
In the US, though that 330 is now more like 350 because the US dollar has, of course, relatively weakened in that currency pair. Anyway, there is another factor with the PS5. That factor is timing. PS5 has only just begun to outpace the relative PS4 sales, but something's about to happen, and that something is called GTA 6. So if there ever was a time to lock in your prices that include a decent margin, it is now, before GTA. And as both the
there are going to be so many people who get a PlayStation 5 if they don't have one already for this game. So I agree, they're going to keep raising prices and be like, okay, we need to lock this in before this game comes out so we can make the most money possible. I'll be real, if this is console only to begin with, I'm going to be so mad, like they did with GTA 5. That was on like console only for like a year, 2 years, whatever, however the fucking long it was. If it's console only, I'm gonna be so mad. PC release is gonna take a while, will cost $1 million. $1 million. $1 million. Yeah, but goddamn, like, if it's gonna be console only, I will get a PS5. I'm just gonna have to. Yep, GTA 6 might break everything. GTA 6 made me sell both of my kidneys and my spleen and my heart. It's, yeah, crazy.
PS5 show. It's not just a US thing. I know a lot of us are PC gamers here, so let's take a step back. Say you don't want new hardware and you're not planning on buying physical games. I mean, there's no tariffs on Steam, so surely we're golden, we're fine, right? No, absolutely not. There's a expectancy, number one, of some form of global recession from all of the uncertainty and the trade changes. That means less funding for all developers, especially indies. That
Clair-obscur?
Means fewer games, and it means fewer games that are different. By different, I mean new IP, unproven ideas, and I have first-person accounts of this from people I know who went to this year's GDC to do business, you know, saw all the different publishers.
Yes, promote the game more! Promote the game more! Go! Clair-obscur, Expedition 33, pod game.
It's the wealth of devs, publishers, and analysts who are reporting on this as well. That is happening. There is less money on all sides, and that does include margin-friendly nice-to-haves, or maybe things that would be used to creep up the margin.
GTA 6 hype exists because we know nothing about it. That's the anticipation paradox. The more info we get on GTA 6, the less hyped it will be. I cannot disagree with you more. Do you remember Cyberpunk? That game was built on hype. Trailer after trailer, teaser after trailer. People got more and more hyped until it released, and it was a buggy mess for a lot of people, and it hurt the game. I don't agree with this at all. I don't think more info means less hype. I really don't understand where this point has come from. Cyberpunk just completely disproves that.
A bit. I mean, where is merchandise made? Where are collector's editions made? You've got a global.
It only brings less hype if what they reveal is boring or not fun. If they release more info and suddenly, oh, that doesn't look that great, yes, it reduces hype. But if it's good content, then it's the opposite, right?
That is built on exploiting the cheap.
Starfield? Yeah, but Starfield was just a shit game. Starfield was just a shit fucking game, right? So the more that it came out about it, people realized it was just ass.
Industrial capacity of Southeast Asian nations. And I mean, beyond merch, consider card games and board games. Helldivers has a board game. Riot has got a card game. Those will be massively impacted because almost all board games are made in China. Trust me, I actually looked into making board games in UK and US. Holy shit, it is expensive. Like, so expensive that people would literally just not buy the box set. And I mean, we all know how expensive board games can be as it is, even with those economies of scale. So it's pretty rough. And of course, if some manufacturing capacity was to appear or to increase in, say, US and UK, well, the incumbents would be the people able to eat up all of that capacity, making it vastly harder for newcomers to enter and disrupt that market. So what's going to happen? Will the price of collector's editions go up? I mean, in a way, I'd say yes. In another way, I'd say no, not just that.
Because the people who will get collector's editions are going to spend lots of money anyway. So what's another 20 bucks, huh? What's another 20 bucks? Goddamn.
Collector's editions don't exist in a bubble. They've got a purpose, right? They are high margin in order to increase the overall margin of the product line. But there's only so much demand elasticity. If you keep on just passing all those prices to the consumer, you'll eventually get to the stage where it's now too niche of a product. A business will still want to optimize their average sale price. They'll still want to do everything they can to get revenue up. That is, after all, the purpose of a collector's edition. And so if we move into an environment where the unit economics just don't support things like collector's editions, then we can expect to see digital price increases, more advanced access things, more cosmetics. Indeed, we're already seeing funky stuff between digital and physical pricing. But with all this, if there's one thing that I would just personally implore you to think about the most out of anything I have said, expect the vast majority of these changes to happen silently without your overt knowledge. We will not know what price a new game would have been in another timeline, so we cannot run that comparison. We only have the timeline that we've got. We only have the market that we have got. And that means that things could have went in a different way and better way with, say, some game pricing and some business model stuff, but we will never know that because...
Yeah, we'll never know. In a different timeline where we didn't have tariffs, we didn't have inflation, the economy didn't fuck itself. What could have been of gaming? But you know what? There is one game that proves you can just make... As long as you make a good-ass game, it's fine. Look at Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, right? That game right now is like £30 on Steam. It's a full-on like 40 to 60 hours of like gameplay. It's really good. It's a really good game by like a indie dev team, technically, right? A relatively unknown dev team. And it's a phenomenal game. One of the best games I've played in a long ass time. And it's only £30. Hey, as long as you make a really... For gaming, as long as you make a really good product, people will play. People will play. And the sheer number of people that will play your game, man, that's a win. Man, that's an absolute win.
Because the market that would have allowed for that is not the market that we have. It's the kind of thing we're looking at the state of the industry. Well, with physical products becoming a less reliable revenue source, digital will be the comparatively more reliable one. That's where, of course, investment will go, because reliability is good in business. And what will that do? That will accelerate many of the trends that this channel grapples with. Be that your advanced early access, all the fun forms of price laddering and upsells, etc., etc.
Okay, but does that mean that the price of packs in Genshin Impact and all the other gacha games, are they going to go up? Am I going to have to spend more per pull now for my hot gacha men? Goddamn.
Advertisements in games, those are the things that will increase and increase and increase as the unit economics gets worse from just selling a game, selling merch for a game, or hardware. That slack will need to be picked up somewhere else. Expect it to be ads, expect it to be business model, expect it to be prices. And perhaps most of all, for the strategic mega minds in gaming, expect more user-generated content. Whenever I say that, what do you think of? You think of Fortnite, you think of Roblox, maybe Minecraft.
Great video. It's very informative to keep people, informative. It keeps people in the know, keeps me in the know of what is going on in the wider gaming community. Yeah, we're all fucked, essentially. Go buy Claire Obscure, go play it, go support good games. GTA 6 is gonna fuck us all. Consoles are expensive, everything's expensive now. Just don't import or buy anything ever. Just simply do not spend money. Just simply do not spend money ever. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. I'm live every single day on Twitch. Link is in the pinned comment. Make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. I love you very much. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.